this is actually TSR primetime. Now we were supposed to be on yesterday, but I ran into a few little snags, and I had my fantasy football draft, which I damn near missed. But we're here now. It's all good. I am joined, of course, by Kevin Savo, the actor and director responsible for The Adventures of Savo, coming to a theater near you. What's going on, Kev?
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah, man. So you made an appearance on my show last week. Talk a little bit about what things have been like since you were on the show. I mean, obviously your life hasn't changed too much, but what kind of things are you going to be working on here in the not too distant future? Just to give people a reason to, hey, get on over and subscribe to this guy.
Oh yeah. Please come over to Savo Central. We do the Adventures of Savo show, which is like this happening in the manosphere. It's a series that I'm working on that I wanted to turn into this red pill Expendables, where each episode could feature a red pill guy from YouTube that's never acted before, and it's kind of just a little treat for the audience, like whichever audience digs it. And then Savo Central is being rebranded into a red pill channel. It kind of stemmed from, actually, funny thing you don't realize is I used to do movie reviews and video game reviews on that channel, and that put me in touch with how deeply disturbed like the YouTube gaming comment section people are. And so I mean, I wish I had a more flattering way to put it off top, but I stagger sometimes when I'm improvising, and I would do these streams, and little by little, I'm the guy that, can get himself laid, who has a social life, who does fine for himself with women, but I can enjoy some video games once in a blue, and sure, I'm creative enough to do video game commentary. So it was a little hobby. But then little by little, my audience members would be reaching out to me saying like, I don't understand how you have this gaming channel and you're the video game guy just like we are, but like we can't get out of our mother's basements and we can't get ourselves laid and we're socially awkward.
Whoa, so wait a minute. Are you kidding me with that? Like, you've never told me that.
Right. So that's when I started giving advice on YouTube, because I started thinking to myself, okay, this is kind of like this is sort of unfair that like I kind of was where these guys were. There was a point where I was more into video games than into girls, and I didn't have much of a social life, and maybe I had more friends on Skype than I had in person. But you grow up and you become socially equipped and you get out in the world, sure, and you work out in the world and the various different things that I've done. And I'm like, I feel like this is the perfect audience to get some advice on how to better their confidence as men and how to become men. Because right now they're still just kind of video game kids. What backfired on me and what made me want to rebrand the channel into a red pill, more RP content related channel is I didn't realize the difference between guys that realize they kind of need help and guys that are just sort of getting the advice shoved in their face, So head over to Savo Central. We're doing a lot more red pill content over there. Eventually I'd like to have a channel for every form of content that I do.
Okay.
But we'll start dividing up that niche a little bit.
Good, very good. A couple of quick things. I actually just opened up the actually got these a few days ago. So I'll go ahead and show this to the audience. Now here's the thing. These are stripper heels, right? They're lace-up stripper heels. She has long, beautiful legs. Just so you guys know what they look like, these are the black ones that she has. Let me just put these on. Oh, it's not going to let me. Okay, I don't know. It's not going to let me do that. But here's the thing. The dilemma that I am in is that we actually have Olivia over tonight. Olivia had some family stuff happen last night, and so she's going to be spending the night here. She's actually downstairs watching a movie with Dev. And so, me, I'm trying to get it in. I'm trying to fuck. But like when Olivia's here, it's like, okay, now she's 13 years old, so she knows what's going on, or at least I would like to think that she knows or doesn't know what's going on. So I want to try to keep her innocence for as much as possible. However, so that's the quandary that I'm in. I don't really know if we should get it in tonight. Either
you gotta
way,
fuck like ninjas.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man. So this is what. Oh boy, that's really big. Hang on a second. All right, hang on. You're funny. So this is what they look like. There, of course, is our dog Daisy. So this is what they look like. They're beautiful. Devin has, she's got pretty feet, nice legs, blah 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 blah. Just replace all the black with the pink. Something else we got in are these custom earrings. Custom earrings, that's right. It has, oh, you know what? I'm going to open it just so that you guys can see the name that is in these custom earrings. Now, you guys know that my birth name is Edwin Alexander Hopkins Jr., and most people who know me out in the real world and not in YouTube land or content creator land, they call me Alex. And so Dev always tries to come up with new ways to try to mark herself as a taken woman. Well, Alex used to be primarily a boy's name, but now it is a unisex name. So she went and ordered these earrings with the name Donovan in them. So when we go places, people are going to know, oh, wow, she's got the name Donovan in her earrings. We actually got her some of these. I don't know if you can see that. That also says Donovan. So listen, man, it is very, very important that you not only mark your woman as your territory, but your woman has to mark herself as your territory. That's really kind of what it comes down to. Devin's not trying to entertain anybody. She wants to let everybody know I'm with this guy. And because Alex is a unisex name, she decided to go with Donovan. So shout out to Dev for that. Your thoughts on that, Kev?
I think all the Savo girls at one point or another, or the girls dating the Savo brothers, had some of our apparel. My brothers used to make T-shirts that had our names on it or our album covers, and we would either do that or we'd make them wear Penguins jerseys.
Oh, you guys are Penguins fans.
And Penguins fans, so we would make them wear Penguins jersey, and that was like a Savo woman thing. And then my dad used to make Penguins jerseys custom made that had Savo on the back of the jersey instead of a player's name.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I used to be a jersey. I used to be a jersey wearer, but not so much anymore. When I got older than the athletes that I used to root for, I said, okay, this is kind of weird, so I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, does Texas Dom ever tell you the way people look at him and his woman in public? Some of the things that with the way they live their life?
No, he has not.
He's got funny bits from where he talks about like his wife like going to hand him a glass, but like kissing it before she hands it to him, like getting him a drink. And he says that'll bug some people out. That'll bug some feminists out when they see. I love that guy, by the way. I'm glad you're associated with him.
Oh yeah, dude. Texas Dom is the best, man. He's involved with some next level type shit, that's for sure. Okay, so let's get to it, man. So we're gonna talk about tonight about how to get over a bad breakup. Now, Kevin, you recently did a video. Is it on YouTube right now?
Yeah, you guys did definitely. Relating to this topic, you got to head over to Savo Central and check out this video where I'm giving a young man from Patreon, paid a Patreon price to ask for advice on how to get over a breakup. I believe he was separated from his wife, and it looks like they're going to split up. And it was a very prototypical situation, saying that he's unmotivated, he's depressed, he hasn't been in the gym, he hasn't been working on his passions, he's been playing a lot of video games, and he doesn't know what to do. And I went in detail giving my advice, at least, which Donovan seems to approve of. I mean, all you can do is give your advice, and all you can do as the viewer is look at information and see if it works for you or see if it makes sense for you, but you got to try it. That's one main thing I want to stress for the point of this conversation, is whether it's exercise advice you're getting, weightlifting advice, dating coaching. I mean, whatever it is, you have to absorb information and be willing to give it a chance if you're going to seek advice from somebody, especially when you're going to go to the extent of paying a price for it, whether it's Donovan's members only price or whether it's my Patreon. Now you're spending money to get information. So you want to make sure you put it in effect. I think a lot of guys kind of just hear something and go, well, I'm pretty certain that won't work for me. And it's like, well, if you haven't tried it, you have no clue. I mean, you really have no clue unless you've actually adhered to the advice that you asked for. Yes. So I want to make sure for the duration of this conversation, if any of this advice sounds keen to you, or it sounds like it fits your story or what you're going through, that, you really give it some thought.
Not only that, I think I'll go you one better on that. My advice is to take action. A lot of guys like to seek out advice, but they like hearing that good advice. They know they know what they're being told is good advice, but what ends up happening is that they rarely actually take action. And listen, man, good advice is always difficult to follow because it is good advice, and the right thing to do is often synonymous with the hardest thing to do. So that's what these are some of the elements that we're going to talk about. These are some of the elements that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to open up the phone lines here in about 15 minutes. If you guys need advice on how to get over a bad breakup, or if you have a situation that you're dealing with, or anything to add to what we talk about in terms of getting over breakups, we'd love to hear from you. We're going to open up the phone lines here in about 15 minutes. So I'll go ahead and start things off here. Now, obviously, we're all men, right? We've all been through bad breakups with women we love at some point or another. Some of us get the, I think we should see other people from our women, which we all know means she's fucking someone behind your back. Some of us don't find out that she's moved on until you catch her in the act of cheating in some way, shape, or form. And some, like myself, I've dealt with extremely messy breakups that set us back, both emotionally and in a lot of times financially. Now, the aftermath of a breakup is a very, very important time in a man's life. And a lot of times it can literally make or break him because he's in a very fragile, vulnerable state and susceptible to bad decisions that could end up costing him dearly in both the short and the long term. So now the question becomes, what is a man to do after a particularly messy breakup with a woman he actually grew to love? What can we do to avoid not falling into another black hole of depression and developing habits like the guy playing video games and being unmotivated that will only further or worsen the pain? Well, I've actually got maybe four. I've got three things that I want to that I would advise. And so I'm going to give you guys these one at a time, and then we'll get Kevin's take on this. So the number one thing that you should do after a bad split up is you cut off all contact with your ex-girlfriend and everyone she knows, okay? Out of sight, out of mind, guys. Block her number, block her friends, block her family on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, any outlet you could possibly see or have been seen on, and then deactivate all of those accounts for at least 3 months. Guys, I'm here to tell you, being on social media is the worst thing a man can do after a breakup. Seeing your ex with a new guy or being tagged in photos with her friends that show them having a blast without you, that's not good for your mental or psychological well-being, guys. It's not. Blocking her on all platforms, what this also does is this removes the temptation to reach out to her in any way in an attempt to get back together with her or vice versa. A lot of girls try to get back with their exes soon after a breakup, and if they're successful, the second go around is always a train wreck. Trust me. Like, I've gotten back with girls who have cheated on me. It's never the same, and the relationship is always tainted for good. By completely removing, by how can I put this? By completely removing her from your life, you're not opening yourself up to further pain and suffering. And further, when your ex finds out that she cannot get a hold of you, eventually she's going to give up trying and she'll move on with her life, which is, to me, that's a good thing for all involved. So what do you think of that advice, Kevin? Do you agree, disagree? Anything to add to that?
Well, there's a lot to touch on there. I agreed with what you first, I agree with all of it, but I was mainly keen to what you had first said about how important that time period is. This is what I touched on also in the video where I was addressing the young man that wrote into me asking how to get over a breakup. And I talked about that time period after a breakup is so crucial in a man's life, because if you lead with emotion at that time and emotion only, you're sort of only focused on the hurt and you're only focused on ill feelings, and you're not prepared to accept that this is not a time for things to feel good. There's a time for things to feel good. There's a time for things to feel like a struggle, but the struggle is what makes the good times. It's such a crucial period. And me personally, maybe it's just me, and maybe it's the fact that my last 3-4 breakups were initiated by me. That makes it a little easier because there isn't the pride thing in the way where my pride wasn't hurt or I wasn't butt hurt. But it was still really, really sad. Anytime I've had to leave a girl that I really had feelings for, it was really sad. But me personally, always take that time after a breakup to really zero in, like razor sharp focus on the things that I neglected while I was with her, because something's always going to take a hit. And this is what I was trying to explain to the young man in that video, which you guys check out the full thing, but something's always going to take a hit in a relationship. Now, you may be saying to yourself, maybe I didn't, leave a girl that was hell on wheels. Maybe we had a pretty good thing and she was a pretty decent girl, but rest assured, something suffered from your life in that relationship. Something became imbalanced, because even if you two have a decent relationship, at the very least, you had to think for the duration of the time that you were together. What would I do? What decisions I make in my life? How will that affect my partner? How will that make her feel? If nothing else, and that's aside, what are we going to eat? What are we going to watch? What are we going to do? So it's, if you can look at it like you're on some sort of comeback mission, which is how I always feel. I feel like, I was almost like a part of like a little family, or I was almost attached. I was attached to somebody. I was living life side by side somebody, and now it's just me, like a little lone wolf or something.
Okay.
Be dramatic about it if it helps. But and now it's just time to zero in on all things me and enjoy the luxury of having that. So, I mean, I'll try to wrap this up by just saying that it seems as if you can really, treat it like almost like a new opportunity. Like, okay, you're a free man. You don't have to worry about her. You have nobody else taking up, first of all, taking up space in your head in terms of like, oh my God, is she cheating? Does she still love me? Does she like,
God, yeah.
So all that's gone. All your insecurities are gone. All the issues you had in your relationship are gone. And even if everything was great, now you have the temporary or maybe long-term privilege of being 100% self-focused.
Yes.
And I'll just add on by saying that, and then to take it a step further, if you really, really hunker down and really take that time to be 100% engrossed in self-improvement, you can set yourself up in the future for a situation where this never has to happen again. Because if you've really improved yourself as a man, next time a breakup comes about, that hit's not going to be as hard if you made your life about more than being with a girl, because then at that point you're only ever a byproduct of being in a relationship.
Dude, 100%. The most important thing you said there was self-improvement. Now, every man should be constantly involved in self-improvement. But what you just said there it is absolutely paramount. And honestly, I think it's tantamount to any man entering into a relationship. Listen, man, if Devin and I were to break up tomorrow, it's going to hurt. I love her very much, and we've been through a lot together, and we have what I feel like is a great relationship. But if I decide she's not worth it anymore, or she decides I'm not worth it anymore, and we decide to go our separate ways, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it would not hurt. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I wouldn't be bummed about it. But by the same token, I am all about me. I am 1,000% self-focused. And so while a breakup with my long-term girlfriend would hurt, it would not hurt nearly as much as, say, Stephanie or Tatiana or Jennifer, when I was literally all about them. This isn't to say that if you are a self-made man and you're highly successful, highly functional, high value, and so forth, this is not to say that you'll be impervious to the pain of a breakup. But what I am saying is that the more self-focused you are, specifically on self-improvement, the less susceptible you'll be to fall into a depression. I'd definitely be bummed if Devin and I were to go our separate ways, but I wouldn't be depressed because I know and understand life goes on.
That was another big point that I made. When there is a mission at hand, the mission stops for nothing.
Yes.
I talked about during my last breakup in particular, I was the one that left, but I was crazy about this girl and I was heartbroken, and we almost had a kid together. So I cried over her. And I said in the video that I was still crying over this girl, dealing with my feelings. Like, I'm not Spock. I'm not mute emotionally. Like, I have feelings, but
of course,
I was literally sobbing over this girl, going like, oh, this is so fucking awful. But oh God, I got to get back on that script.
Shit to do. Yeah.
Like I have so there was never a thought that I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to throw my life away. I'm going to throw my passion away. When there is a mission at hand, the mission doesn't stop for anything. I mean, when you're really productive and really high performance, a breakup doesn't kill your ambition. A death in the family doesn't kill your ambition. And just like you said, it doesn't mean that those things aren't sad, and you don't need to take time to deal with those things and mourn. But the very beta lose your mind over a breakup thing to do is to literally throw away your life for a temporary period of time. Get rid of your friends, get rid of your passion, start slacking at work, start slacking in the gym, all these things over a girl. And what people don't realize is this is a direct result of a lot of things not being in check. So there's no short answer to how to get over a breakup. What you really want to do is set yourself up to be in a position in the future where you've made it easier on yourself by developing yourself as a man, because a lot of this stems from not having a mission to begin with. So when a guy writes into me and he says, I'm unmotivated. I haven't been in the gym. I haven't been working. I've been playing video games because I'm depressed over a breakup. What that says to me is, well, you didn't have a mission to begin with. You didn't throw away your mission because your girl broke your heart. I don't think you had a mission to begin with. Once you acquire a mission, you're a little less likely to have a woman tamper with it.
No, I agree. Not only if you have a mission, you're more likely to have a woman actually help you with it. The phone lines are open, guys. 516-387-1987.
That's
If
a
you're
Long
calling
Island
from,
number.
say again.
That's a Long Island number.
Oh, is it?
516.
Oh, okay. All right. They just randomly gave it to me.
It's just a generated number, I know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if Long Island, Long Island. If you're calling from outside the U.S., 001-516-387-1987. The second thing that I will point out that I feel like is very, very, I need to quit saying that. The second thing that I will point out that is a very, very important part of getting over a breakup is you got to spend more time with family and friends. Okay. Now, guys, you got to understand this step is extremely important because it takes your mind temporarily off of the breakup and your ex, even if just for a little while. Okay, yes, guys, listen, she's going to creep into your mind periodically, and you will feel that pang in your stomach. But the more time you spend with people who care about you, the easier things will get. Now, this also has the benefit of sort of helping time to pass by seemingly quicker than normal. Okay, listen, nothing stops time like sitting in your apartment alone crying about the breakup for days on end. Okay, it's like the clock slows to a crawl only to further drive the knife into your soul. But listen, it's going to be tough, but going out with your buddies for a drink, maybe a pickup game or something, that will most assuredly speed time up. And you have to understand this. Time passes by more quickly when you're busy, and the quicker time passes by, the quicker you will get over your ex. So, Kev, what are your thoughts on staying busy? Family, friends, hobbies, things of that nature.
Well, staying busy for sure. I mean, almost nothing in my life revolves around women or a relationship. So, as many manosphere guys will say, it's nice to have a woman as an addition to everything else you have going on. When she's everything, if you take her out of the equation, that's where you become lost. Now, when you become lost, it's very important. I think this is the most important thing that guys get confused. When you become lost, you're in a very emotional state, therefore you lead with emotion, and then what you're really trying to do is almost meditate on feeling better.
Yeah.
And this is what a lot of people do when they're
Yes.
really going through it. They almost try to meditate on a better mental state. Like, I really hope I can feel better, or I hope I can put the pieces together in my head, like relive the relationship, relive the things that I went wrong, like try to mentally become at ease with this situation that I'm naturally not at ease with. No, you're distraught. You're lost. Okay. It's time for action, not for some sort of mental meditative idea of
Right.
feeling better, because action is the only thing that's going to resolve it. And I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people kind of just try to think through it and try to mentally set themselves at ease by getting a few things straight in their head. You need to work. And one of the things I said is, even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you don't work on videos like us, even if you don't have a passion project you work on, if overtime's available at the job, take it. Get a side job.
Yes.
Do what you can, because when in doubt, do what's difficult and do what's right. Like everybody inherently knows what's right, especially as a man. Like every time you're slacking, you know what you should be doing. You don't need somebody, especially if you're a grown man. Don't act like you need somebody to come along and tell you what you're slacking on. You know,
Right.
maybe you want somebody to reconfirm it to you, but you know what you're slacking on. So you know that hard work is not a bad thing. So.
Right.
If nothing else, when you're lost, work first, think secondly. Let your emotions follow the work. Let your emotions play off of and respond to the work that you're doing, keeping yourself busy, keeping your body busy, and keeping your mind busy.
Which leads me to the third. I actually just thought about this one. Speaking of, taking action, guys, I can't think of a better way to get over a bad breakup than to hit the gym, right? Like, listen, and I know, Kevin, I know you can probably attest to this. To me, lifting weights is probably one of the most underrated stress relievers out there, right? Like, deadlifting 350 pounds, that has a unique way of sort of tempering the anguish and the pain that comes from a bad breakup, okay? Now, fortunately for me, this has actually been a go-to strategy for me, and it's never failed me. Anytime I have a breakup with a woman I actually give a shit about, yes, it sucks. It blows, okay? From longtime girlfriends to short-term flings, there's always a measure of sadness that comes from ending things with a female. Whenever I get that pang in my stomach, to me, lifting weights, pushing iron, it always works wonders, man. Lifting heavy weights requires focus and concentration, none of which leaves any room to really be thinking about what or who your ex might be doing. What do you think of lifting weights as sort of a way to get over a bad breakup?
reminds me of myself, the way I've always been. I was a
There you go.
teenager getting over breakups. Fucking, I'd be like teary eyed walking into the gym, just still knowing that that's what I got to do.
Yep.
I'm not gonna. This shit might sound pretty beta, but I'll admit the times that like I cried over girls and was
Oh
heartbroken because like
shit! You kidding me?
we're not inhuman.
No.
But so I'm not necessarily making an argument for being the most alpha or the most red pill. I'm just talking about a sideline argument of getting focused, and getting focused requires a lot of work and a lot of mental sharpness. You need to zero in on something. And then you need to lead. You need to lead with action. I also wanted to touch on before you said spend time with family and friends. This is another thing I wanted to bring up about the most simp beta thing you can do is throw away all your friends for a girl. Don't ever do this in the first place.
Jesus,
you should hopefully you maintained your relationship with your brothers and with your friends throughout your relationship, so that when that relationship shit the bed, you didn't go back to them like, hey guys, sorry, I know you've been here for me my whole life, but she gives me sex and affection, so I thought that trumped your companionship. And
yeah, man,
that's the worst thing you can do. You got to remember something. Your brothers, your best friends, your family, whoever's close to you, they've been there for you your whole life. They were there before this girl. It is the most simp-like thing you could do to throw away your family and friends for a girl.
Dude,
don't ever do it. Don't ever do
man,
that.
And it's and we've all had friends who do this, right? We have all had friends who Now, for men, this is a bad thing. For women, not so much, because single women keep women single, right? Girls complain all the time. Oh, a girl, she'll get with a guy, and all of a sudden she'll just dump all her friends. That's because women know that her friends ain't shit. Women know that their friends, like, honestly, women
That's
know
her exiting the party life out of respect for her.
That's it. Right. Listen, all they do, just like you said, man, most women don't have any hobbies. Their hobbies is getting fucked up and getting fucked. That's it. Well, guess what?
If her friends were from the book club, she wouldn't have needed to get rid of them. But they more than likely weren't the friends she met at the library. It was the friends she went out partying with.
Listen, real talk. If a friend of yours drops out of your life after she gets into a long-term relationship or assumed a long-term relationship, then you have to tell girls have to understand that you're not the kind of friend that she needs that is conducive to a good relationship. Because it's just like you said, when women don't drop friends, just like you said that they met at the book club. They don't drop their friends they met in spin class. They don't drop the friends that they do yoga with. They don't drop friends that they drink wine with and critique movies over. They drop the friends who are hoes. Most women are hoes, is why most women drop their friends when they get a boyfriend. But as a man, there's no need to do that. Because what you have to understand is your friends and your brothers, dude, your friends and your brothers are going to be more loyal to you than your girl will ever be. And dude, that's a fact. Listen, I'm sure Devin is very loyal to me, but I would trust my two brothers more than I trust. She's not even related to me by blood. What makes me think I can count on her for being loyal to anything? This isn't to besmirch her, but you need to understand, you got to make sure you keep those relationships with the men you cherish the most, because when and if things go south and you've isolated your friends, then, now, men, we're not the type of guys who are like, you started dating Heather, you started blah, 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 you forgot us, so fuck you. No, they'll probably rib you a little bit about it, but then welcome you back into the fold. Girls, it ain't the same way. So a girl drops all her friends, things don't go well with her boyfriend, those girls aren't trying to be friends with her again. Oh, no. So that's to me, that's a unique advantage that we as men have over women, is that we don't need to drop our friends when we're in a relationship, and that's a good thing. It's literally the opposite for women.
Yeah, no, it is. It absolutely is. That's a great point.
All right, let's talk about things not to do. So I think there's only really one thing. There's only one thing that I could advise you not to do after a bad breakup. Do not try to get back with your ex-girlfriend ever.
Oh, no, accept what is.
Dude, listen. I've been through this way too many times. Dude, I've seen way too many posts and way too many threads with guy after guy asking, how do I get my girlfriend back?
It's probably the number one question among dating coaches and among what you guys do. Probably the number one question you guys get, correct?
Yes. How do I get my girlfriend back? The answer to that question is you don't. Listen, man, few things in this life cause women to lose respect for a man faster than a man who comes crawling back to her. Especially if she's the one who left him. Whether or not you're in a successful, whether or not you're successful in actually getting your girl back, it doesn't matter. Things are always much worse. There are, guys, listen, there are zero exceptions, guys. Not only have you shown her that you don't have other options, you've shown her that you have zero backbone and that you are not a man. Think about it. Think about this, right? Just play the scenario out in your head. If you find out your girl is fucking some dude on the side, you kick her slutty ass to the curb, then call her back the next day to try to work it out, guys, she will punish you with the fury of 1,000 suns. Okay? If it's the other way around and she calls you to reconcile, which shouldn't happen in the first place because you blocked her number, she'll punish you just the same. She'll continue fucking the guy on the side while getting all of the benefits of a relationship with you. You see, because in her mind, she's not afraid of getting caught again because the first time she got caught, you took her back. I'm telling you right now, getting back with your ex will only prolong your pain and do further damage to you in the long run. Even if your split was amicable, even if you guys parted as friends, doesn't matter. Women lose respect for men who come groveling back to them, and that's all there is to it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I haven't had to deal with any of this shit since becoming self-focused.
Good.
And I think this is like something that AMS would say, that like you could study a bunch of different strategies on how to deal with women, how to deal with your nature, how to deal with her nature and everything else involved. Or you really could just zero in on your own self-focus and your own work and your own productivity. And sometimes that really just takes care of everything. And then Rollo Tomasi made the point to me. I told him the same thing. I said, when I became fully engrossed in my work and started caring more about my work than any of the girls I was seeing,
Yep.
They all started chasing me more.
Yep.
And my game with women went up, not because of any strategies I studied or because of any strategies that I applied with them personally, but just because I was too busy with my work to really give them any attention. And Rollo said, that's because your job becomes like the other woman who she enjoys being in competition with.
Wow. I've never heard him say that before.
So that's I want to say is the goal of what we're talking about here.
Okay.
I know it blows that we're not going to give you any direct advice like do this, that, and the third, and you're cured. You're good to go. What guys don't realize is you want to come to guys like Donovan, Sharpe, and AMS, and you want to come to these channels to hear the compartmentalized giant picture of what you're dealing with here. You have to understand what these things relate to. So you're suffering from a breakup. That relates to so many different things. What you did before the relationship, how you entered the relationship, how you conducted yourself in the middle of the relationship, how it ended. What did you have going on in your life beforehand? What do you have going on now? There's so many different things that it relates to. And the answer is an overhaul of your life and a complete radical change that gears yourself more towards self-improvement. It's not a quick fix.
I agree. And I'll say this. Getting over a breakup with a woman, that begins before you even start the relationship with her. If you don't have your shit together, just like Kevin said, if you're not self-focused, it's going to take a lot longer for you to get over that breakup. You have to understand, you have to have your shit together first. Easier said than done, guys, but that's exactly the way it needs to be done. All right, Kev, listen, I'll give you the last word. I guess guys are not, I don't know, there must be somebody else on because nobody's calling into the phone line, so I guess we'll go ahead and give this a wrap. What are your closing thoughts on this, man?
Closing thoughts on this is simply like we've been talking about. It's when it comes to, well, you know what? I guess I'll touch on this since we touched on all the other obvious ones.
Okay.
I guess the final thing I can add to this is my bit that I call emotional rehab.
Yes. Yes.
You know, you seem to really dig this.
This is
I told Donovan this bit for anybody that didn't hear it in the last stream that my father is 5 years clean off crack and heroin, and my dad helps mentor other people get clean in the NAAA program.
Oh, no, that I didn't know. I didn't know that he helped. Okay. Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Man. Okay.
Yeah. So my dad was a drug counselor, and he speaks in meetings often. And he explained to me that when you're a recovering drug addict or a recovering alcoholic and you're thinking of going back out, as they call it, like you're thinking about going back out and using and giving up your sobriety time, that craving only tends to last, you know, that craving for whatever drug or booze or whatever it is that you're craving tends to only last for the duration of like 10 to 15 minutes. Don't quote me on that science exactly, but
sure.
So he said part of working the program is when you feel like this is it, I'm going to fuck up and go call my dealer, call someone else in the program, not for and this relates to what you're talking about spend time with your friends and family.
Yeah.
My dad would say, if you think you're going to go back out and use, call somebody else in the program, not for the purpose of them telling you, hey, you're an idiot, don't go out and use drugs, but just simply because now you're talking to somebody else, you're relating to another human being, you're hearing about their life, their family, their struggles. Now you've been mentally sidetracked away from that mental fascination, which is like, I just have to get my fix. And I relate this to getting over a breakup, because this is actually something that I did when there was that one girl that I just could not shake. I was hooked on her for no other reason but absolute lust and fascination. It is like a drug. I mean, you are hooked, scientifically, with the way your endorphins peak from making love to her, spending time with her, you name it, you are hooked on that person.
It's addictive, man.
Yeah, so I actually remember being like, fuck, maybe I could just sleep with her one more time, or maybe I could just see her one more time. And I was the one trying to distance myself from her. She didn't want the relationship to end, but I was the one that left her and was like, I cannot go back. But I was fighting the urge not to go back. I would literally call my dad, like, listen, I know I'm not a drug addict. I'm like, but I feel like one. I'm basically about to use my drug of choice.
But the relapse, man.
She's my drug. So anytime I was thinking about things like that, so that's why it makes sense what you said about spend time with family and friends, mental diversion, mental diversion through hanging with family and friends, and then mental diversion as well, in the respect of focusing on your goal and your passion and your purpose. So now you've got two major distractions. You've got your family, the people you're tight with, your brothers, whoever, and then you've got your work, then you've got sleep. So there shouldn't be too much time in between for you to be sitting around stressing over the girl. But that's literally what it is like. That is heartbreak, as they say, is emotional pain and physical pain. Yes. They say it actually affects you physically in a way. And I can't remember the science on that, but it's some pretty deep shit. I mean, what it is, though, I think just to have an understanding of it is, at least the way I understand it, is heartbreak is really just a severe withdrawal from the endorphin peaks of when you're with that person. I mean, your endorphins just spike when you're really with somebody that you dig. So if you're really hooked on somebody and then they're just gone, you're really,
it's almost like taking it right off the drug, right?
It's to me, it's like withdrawing. And when you look at it that way, then you kind of just like, all right, it's like if you were getting clean off a substance, you're like, how much? It's only going to be in my system another 3 days. And then after that, I just have to keep myself mentally at bay. And after a while, once you get off of a drug, your body is no longer hooked on it. Your body is no longer craving. And now all you're left with is the mental fascination that you still mentally might be intrigued, and you mentally still might want to fuck with that substance. And now you have to have the mental fortitude not to. But after a while, these things get easier. I mean, people will tell you, you quit smoking the first year is tough. By year 2, it's not as bad. By year 3, you don't even think about cigarettes anymore. By year 4, you don't like the smell of them.
Yeah.
So just having trust that time is going to heal, but understanding that you just need to like you got to sweat her out your system.
Yeah, man.
But also like in rehab, there's all these different things that go on in rehab. There's all these different activities. There's all these different group discussions.
Right, mental stuff.
Yeah, it's all these things to mentally divert you. They know what's going on when you're in rehab. You're not there like, oh, great, I guess I'm never going to fuck with crack again. It's like, no, you're sitting in there thinking like, I would love some crack.
Sure.
So they do everything they can to mentally divert you away from thinking about it. And then another thing is they don't let you keep, I'm quite certain in rehab, they don't let you keep a cell phone because you might call somebody to get some fucking dope.
Shit.
I relate that to contact with the girl. That's not part of your rehab. That's not part of your emotional rehab, is to be talking to the person that was like your endorphin dealer.
Wow, your endorphin dealer. Holy shit, man. Yeah, you explained that better than you explained that this time than you did last time. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Dev put the link to the video that you talk about this a little more extensively in the description. Kevin and I are going to be doing these live shows every Sunday at 8 o'clock. I'm actually in talks right now to maybe to rent a space to set up another, I guess we'll call it Studio C. And Kevin and I might actually start doing these live, like face-to-face, person-to-person.
In person.
Yeah.
Getting the gang together.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man. It would be great to maybe get another person out here as well, but we'll see how it works out. Listen, Kevin, my thanks to you for making time for us tonight, man. Tell the people where they can find you.
Savo Central on YouTube, I think. Does that come up? I punched that in on my, no, it doesn't come up. I punched that in my StreamYard name, Savo Central. Savo is my last name. Savo Central on YouTube. Go hit over there and subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot more Red Pill content over there. And then the show is The Adventures of Savaho. If you type that in, the first 2 episodes are up and you can find us there. My rap music is the Fellas channel. All these links you can find on the Savo Central channel. Like my associated channel links are, the music page and then the movie page.
Thought Mommies.
yeah. Thought Mommies.
Thought Mommies is shit. Kev, thanks for joining us, man. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Kevin Savo is in the house. He is he is the writer and director of the Adventures of Savaho. Also Thought Mommies. You guys were able to take a look at that. That was dude. I'm gonna tell you what, man. Thought Mommies is funny as hell. Thought Mommies was funny as hell, man. I had no idea that the guy who sang the last verse was his brother Rocky. I had no idea it was him until I was up there. I was like, wait a minute, you're the guy in Thought Mommies. I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. I'm going to get a little more work done, then I'm going to hit the shower, and I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for tonight in terms of, hoops and heels, but